Well, I finally got a break from my observatory in the castle. You'll see that it's kind of cloudy out today, so I could come down out of the observatory. It's right over here in the far right of the little tower. It's quite a cozy little castle. It's not quite as imposing as you would think. Um, so I get to come down and show you two very, very exciting charts along with the tarot interpretations of Gandhi and Martin Luther King. So we'll take a little trip through history together and see the magic of the cosmos. A quick overview of Mahatma Gandhi's chart with the very basics of his chart shows two things that really excite me. This these we're both very spiritual men. Gandhi was a follower of the Bhagavad Gita and Patanjali, and he read these scriptures every day. He lived very plainly, went on a fast every Monday, and practiced. He didn't talk, took a vow of silence once a week. He would sit on the floor in loincloths. He was about 100 pounds and looked like a little Yoda from Star Wars, but he was powerful. He bought, he changed the entire British Empire, and he won independence through non-violent means from Britain. So he freed India in the 1940s, and he did it through the practice of ahimsa. Ahimsa means do no harm. You can have a resolution and do non-violence. Nobody's gonna die. They're just gonna give up and go away, which is what they did. Who latched onto this but Martin Luther King Sr.? And he, of course, as a Baptist minister, was the teacher of Martin Luther King Jr. And I had the privilege to meet Martin Luther King Sr. after he lost his son. He paid the ultimate price for his beliefs. Looking at Mahatma's chart, and just briefly, 27 of Leo, and I've talked a lot about Leo as being a very spiritual. After they get the lamp off their head and stop clowning around being the class clown, they turn into our spiritual leaders. We have 27 of Leo moon, and 2 plus 7 equals 9, and 9 is the sign of the hermit. Same for this, 9 for the sun, and 9 is the hermit. So we have a man who cloistered away. He was a lawyer, but he sat in loincloths on the floor and freed an entire nation with his peaceful protests and his belief in peace above all other things. And it worked. So we're going to go on to Martin Luther King and return to Gandhi. I love Gandhi so much, I named my cat Gandhi, but my kitty cat is far from peaceful. Now, I've said before, it's a big cosmos out there, and we always want to start off very simple, like how we learn how to ride a bike and everything else. One step in front. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. This is a chart. Hey, what do you think of this? And we could look at all the things in this chart, and it's quite spectacular. However, it would take us a bit of time to do this. But so let's go on to our more simplified chart for Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream." And indeed he did. I have had the privilege of hearing most of his speeches that he gave from the pulpit in Georgia and all over the country. He said, "I have a dream," and he meant it. And he was not, the speech he gave on the Lincoln Memorial Mall that that was normal talk for him. All of his speeches were just so amazing from a higher plane. So of course he got killed. You know, I hate to say it, but this is a rough world. However, he did follow Gandhi's guidance of ahimsa, and he freed not only just his people, but everybody else that is prisoner to a hateful climate and world. Now we have these things happening in our life now in the United States. How are we going to deal with this? So I love Martin Luther King. I didn't get to meet him, but I still feel so honored to have met his father. It gives me chills. And all of this, of course, was happening in the 50s, and I was just a little kid, so confused by it all. And I grew up a lot in the South. I can't tell you what a nightmare that is for everybody. Um, the sun, here we have our sun, Capricorn. Capricorns are great. They're my favorite sign because, well, I'm a Capricorn. And they tell the truth and tell it like it is. And here we have his sun at 24 degrees of Capricorn in the ninth house. Now, this is where, when you look at your chart, you're going to find out what house your sun is in. Where is it? Where do you live? What's your residency? You might say, I live at number 9 Astrological Street. What's it like there? What are the ingredients to make up the environment? However, the ninth house, as we've learned, rules foreign places, things afar. And where did he get his philosophies? Yes, he did it from India, the magical Gandhi. And I should, if does anybody want a cat, by the way? I'm just putting it out there because I have to get a new couch and new curtains, yeah. So anyhow, aside from that, he didn't take us after his namesake, as adorable as he is. So we have, let's look at the numbers here. The sun is 24. 2 plus 4 equals 6. 6 in the tarot cards is the Lovers. What does that mean? A very peaceful, loving person on all levels. You know, and also there's this innocence. This is the Garden of Eden, and you're kind of in this innocence. When you look at tarot cards, you're going to look at the background. What's in the background? Is it rain, cold, rocks? Is it lush, pretty, verdant? Here we have the garden here. They have everything they need in their innocence. So he was a loving man. He loved his country, not just the people of the South. He loved his country. And he and his father practiced ahimsa. Did people in America know of that at that time? I don't know. Except the very educated people like JFK and Jack Kennedy, and all the Kennedys embraced this philosophies. Robert Kennedy, heroes. We stand on the shoulders of giants. Of course, they got shot too. You know, I'm telling you, you stand up in front of hate. Sometimes you win, but it's a price. So here we have the moon. Let's look at Mr. Moon. We're down up here. They're picking up the philosophies, and the sun shows who your father was. And the father, being a Baptist minister, influenced him in these. They blended this wonderful philosophies from Hinduism, ahimsa, and the wonders of the peaceful teachings of the Baptist religion. And they combined this to ahimsa, and they actually freed a whole nation. I don't know if we realize that, how important Gandhi was in spearheading this. Now, his moon is over here in Aquarius. Now, earlier we looked at Miss Oprah Winfrey, and she's an Aquarian par excellence. And Aquarians believe in everybody. They believe in the potential of mankind. Leo says, hey, it's all about me. Leo's down here. And Aquarius says, no, it's about us. So, and where is the sun? I mean, the moon. We look at the 10th house. See, number 10, 10th house. What is the 10th house? And learn these things. This is where the moon lives. You can say the moon lives over there in the 10th house. And all they think about is their career and path in life. And what he needs emotionally, I need to express my career, my path. In this case, it was a religious and social journey. But the one thing I like about this, first let's go on to the ascendant Taurus. Taurus is a very peaceful, kind, and loving planet. They like to hang out with the flowers and eat good food. They're very peaceful. You think about the bull out in the field eating daisy. However, it's at 13 degrees. Well, I hate to tell you, 13 is, well, 13 in all cultures and all time. Tarot cards are beyond any time recorded, and it comes to us through legends and pictures. 13 is death. All right? And 13 is 1 plus 3 equals 4. 4 and 3 are the same thing, and they're just no fun. So here we have a young man in the South. He's dancing with death all of his life. And the card for number 4 is the Emperor. He is very, very stern. He says, thou shalt not have. And he says, I'll let you win, but you've got to swim the English Channel. But first you've got to carry these rocks. You can't make it with the 4 people. They achieve a lot, but the price is too high. I don't like the harshness. It's just a little rough. But the fun part about Mr. King's chart is I have a dream. And by the way, yes, I told you I heard a whole series of his lectures and sermons. Oh my God, he's brilliant. So we have, we want to look at Venus. In my simplified charts, I like to just do the sun and the moon and the ascendant. And you already have a feeling. If you don't know astrology or tarot, if you line these cards up, you're going to say, oh, you're a very loving, kind, gentle person. But you have an addiction. This is an addiction. We'll never know. But that's like you're trying to get something, you don't have enough money because you're tied to something. You literally have a ball and chain on. So we don't have Martin Luther King with us to answer that. But usually there's drinking, drugs, but there's an addiction, and you want to get out of this hell to reach your goal. So the moon is at a very tough degree. So I'm very loving, but I've got these problems, okay? And I'm dealing with death. I'm threatened all the time, which he was, and it's all very harsh. The South in the first part of the last century was no piece of cake. Let me tell you, I can speak from experience. Now, I have a dream. We have Venus, lovely, beautiful Venus, the ruler of the ascendant. You want to look to where your ruler is. Where are you? Where are you hanging out in the zodiac? You're in the 11th house in Aquarius. Well, let me tell you. Once again, Aquarius, I believe. The house for the 11th house says, I believe. And I have a dream. It's a house of hopes, dreams, and wishes. And people with a lot of placements here have to have a dream. They have to have something they can look forward to. They look forward. They are very forward looking. And so what do I love? I love to have a dream, a goal. I have a dream. And it is, Venus is in opposition to Neptune. And you're going to see the numbers. We have 2 plus 5 equals 7, and 2 plus 4 equals 6. So we have, once again, the Lovers. So the Chariot is the uh, number 7. It says, I'm going someplace. Look at the Chariot. I'm going, Venus is the Chariot, upward mobility. I'm going someplace, get out of my way. But I'm doing it in a very kind, loving way, with innocence and love. So I have a dream. He couldn't, that was really, really him. I have a dream. And that dream came true. And we just have to hope he is somewhere looking down. And we'll hope that he can guide us still, along with his very charming daddy. So I'll bid you adieu. Back I go up to the tower, and I'm going to wait for the clouds to break. And I also have to feed the fairies. We have fairies here, and it's feeding time for the fairies. I hope that looking at Martin Luther King and Gandhi gave you some encouragement for following ahimsa in these days of Trump and the current violent atmosphere. And we must look to these men because we stand on the shoulders of giants, and they freed us all. So we must listen to their song still.